Today than Paul's 5. Mustard can help you with leg cramps. Just straight up yellow mustard, according to A.J. Walton and David K. from Baylor Athletics.
I think I could down a teaspoon of mustard.
I prefer not to, but
a little bitter, right?
Better than mayonnaise.
All right.
I would not want to. I mean, I don't like mayonnaise, but my sister really doesn't. She could not.
She would throw it right back up. Yeah. All right, Paul's 5 at 5:55.
All right, top 5 worries in the Baylor men's basketball restart. Now, look, I don't have a lot of them, when it comes to this team. But when you break it down, the 5 things you're going to have to look for in these next, I would say 3 to 4 games while they get rolling. Number 5, how healthy are they coming off of COVID? Like, who's still a little sluggish? And like, one of the things is fatigue. If you've really got it, a lot of the things that we've heard about COVID is that the fatigue is the last thing to go. So if you really got COVID bad, how quickly can you shake off that fatigue that sets in and kind of follows you around? Number 4, and this might be the most important one. I kind of just put these in particular order, but conditioning. Like, how do you get back into basketball shape? 3 games in 6 days against, one team that's not very good, 2 teams that are really good, and then whatever comes around on the back end with everything else you've got to make up. So can you get back into that condition before the Big 12 tournament? Number 3, and so this is something you mentioned a lot. They were rolling. I mean, not just like, and I know they were undefeated, but like the way that they were playing, that is momentum that you cannot, like, you could not go to a wizard and ask him to cast a spell to give you better momentum than they had. They had such great momentum.
They had just drilled Texas, but pushed a little bit into the second half, just a little bit, and then blew their doors off. And they were 17-0 and on fire.
Yeah. Number 2, I would just say kind of continuity. Like, what's going on? Like, can you get that same, mental continuity that the team has? That start. I mean, they're not just going to, run out and grab it. It's probably going to take some time. But number 1, straight up and down, just rust. I mean, do you look like you've played basketball in the last couple of weeks?
We don't know who's been practicing or how many have been practicing or how many together have been able to do any workouts whatsoever. And I thought that today's presser was, the fact that they're back. Scott Drew can, again, put lipstick on anything, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a little bit of the note about how, when Mack Rhodes said more than not, and that they can't really tell us how many people are back, which means that there might not be all of them back.
Well, no, I think it's very clear that not everybody's back. I think there's obviously some gamesmanship going on as well before tomorrow night. But, I think there is going to be some people out there monitoring Twitter, and about the time that warm-ups start, you're going to get, tweets from whoever on like, hey, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so is not dressed out tonight. I would assume we're going to get some of those, or we're going to get like, hey, everybody's back, and that would be a nice surprise.
Well, an hour before, Scott Drew said today, an hour before the game, we're going to, David K. will send out the release. He
did say that? Okay, I didn't hear that part.
He said an hour before the game.
Okay.
And I think part of that is just they got to make sure they might have some guys that may be healthy, but not back yet because you've got to clear the protocol. So you might call up and say, I feel great. And like, oh, well, we got to put a Q-tip in your nose and find out what's going on.
So, this stretch of 3 games, as you mentioned, this week, and then potentially 3 next week. I mean, I think by, the time they play was West Virginia and then have to turn around for that 3rd game, it's going to be really interesting to see.
Kansas,
to see where they are, and then have to turn around and play another 2 to 3 games. It's like they're going to be well rested, but how rusty are they? And then how worn out are they after having to play maybe 6 games in 2 weeks?
Thanks to Scott Drew. Thanks to Jay Stedman. Thanks as well to Jim Howler. Thanks to Colton Price as well. And also thanks to A.J. Walton, among many others, and Mike Dewey. For Armstrong Sims, as always, appreciate everything you do. Back at it again tomorrow, 11 to 2 up-tempo. We're back at 3 for Craig and Paul. I'm David Smoak. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And thanks to our amazing sponsors. This is SicEm365 Radio.